I go on a cruise. The dolphins, while I'm gone, apparently go on a train. Wreck. Hello, Dolphins and YouTube Nation. Welcome to Finn's Temporal Focus. Been out of the circuit for a little while, but like I have told you guys, I'm more of a reaction to what the Dolphins have done rather than trying to give my predictions of what they're going to do. Not a lot had went on, so I took a cruise with my family, had a great time in the Bahamas. I get back to Tyreek Hill again in the news. Domestic issues has been basically flirting with the idea of, hey, deuces, peace out. I don't know if I want to be here. No, I'm fine. I want to be here. Who cares? It's time to move on from Tyreek Hill. I didn't start this channel until later, obviously, over the last little bit. So I have no proof other than my beautiful wife, who, by the way, is a travel agent. Go to B's and C's. She can hook you up. We had a great time. She can definitely hook you up, and basically, whether it's cruises or vacations, so check it out if you get a chance. If anybody's interested, B's and C's for all of your traveling needs. But point being, she's the only witness I really have. When Miami actually traded for Tyreek Hill, my wife is actually a big fan of Tyreek Hill. I was not happy about Tyreek coming to South Florida. I just didn't feel like it was worth the headache. And guess what? It's not been worth the headache. I think we could have actually been a little further along if we would have went a different direction. But that's neither here nor there. And for all the Tyreek Hill fans out there, sorry, that's just how I feel about it. I think Jalen could have been a lot better and a lot further along in his career if we would have just kind of handed the reins over to him his second year. But hey, this is where we're at. I don't think Miami is going to move on from Tyreek Hill. We can't afford to move on from Tyreek Hill. If we do trade him, it's going to be a post-June trade so we can save like a little bit of money. But chances are he's going to be here disgruntled and all. So we'll see how that goes. And as I said, it's a train wreck in Miami right now. We have nobody. The draft is not going to save us at this point. Of course, there's questions about Tua, and everybody has the Tua questions. Everybody knows what they are. It's just his ability to stay on the field. But I'm happy with Tua. I actually didn't want to draft Tua. I wasn't a big fan in the college circuit in Alabama. You know, the film that I looked at, it seemed like he was throwing to wide open receivers. I didn't see a lot of contested passes. But getting to know him as a person, I don't know how you do not root for this guy. He's a class act, and no, he doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he is very accurate, and as long as he knows his abilities and what his strengths, his weaknesses are. Joe Montana did not have the strongest arm in the world, so it's a little overrated. The arm strength is a privilege, not, if you have it, that's awesome. But even Jeff George had a great arm, throw the ball 90 yards, but couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with it. So it is what it is. Achan, we're good. Running back, Jalen Wright, hopefully they'll use him a little more this year. Point being, when you look at this roster, offensively, oddly enough, I think we're healthier and better offensively, other than the offensive line. Please, before you go into the comments, oh, we have no offensive line. No, you're right. We don't have an offensive line. We definitely need to bolster the offensive line. When you look at it, Aaron Brewer, who is good, we have no right guard whatsoever. We brought in James Daniels. Hopefully he can come back from the injury that he had. I believe it was to his ankle. And then, of course, Austin Jackson, who is also returning from an injury here in Miami. And there's so many question marks. And then, of course, Patrick Paul is going to be taking over for Armstead, who retired. I also missed that. And, congratulations to Armstead, who had a tremendous career. Hopefully Hall of Fame one day. To me, he would be there, which we're going to get into that. I've talked about making the case for Mark Clayton, making the case for Richmond Webb and some of these ex-Dolphins players for the Hall of Fame. That is still coming. I really want to start working on that. It's just really hard between home life and work. It's hard to get all this stuff in. Didn't realize it was going to be this hard to get it in. But I still want to do the Mark Clayton thing. Please comment if you're even interested in some of that stuff. But definitely want to do the Mark Clayton thing. Defensively, there's your train wreck. We have one solid starter on the defensive line, Zach Sealer. That's it. Our linebackers are not bad. Obviously with our edge rushers, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson, Bradley Chubb, our inside with Jordan Brooks. We brought in the guy, a junior, and I cannot remember his name right off the top of my head. But then we get the news that Jalen Ramsey is going to be traded. Now, we needed a cornerback before Jalen was going to be traded. Now we have nothing. Cam Smith hasn't proven himself. Bonham has not proven himself. Cater Kohu, I do like. I don't like as a outside corner. I think he's solid inside at the slot position. But we'll see. Somebody's going to have to step up regardless. We're not going to get two starting cornerbacks in this draft. So obviously that's not happening. And then we need defensive line help. Like I said, Zach Sealer, the only defensive lineman we have, really. Nothing against these other guys, and there may be a diamond in the rough. You never know. Cameron Wake was that way. Nobody heard of him. Nobody knew who he was, and all of a sudden, another honorable mention, maybe Hall of Fame. And he came out of nowhere. Maybe we can get one of those guys. We need one of those guys because we have nothing on the defensive side of the ball. And I really wasn't worried about the defense that much when the season was over. I really thought we could patch that up fairly well. And now I'm more worried about the defense than I am the offense. The Dolphins, Chris Greer's come out and talked about stuff. And for two guys who are really on the hot seat in McDaniel and Greer, what are you doing? Obviously, very little. But, and I get you got cap room, you know, hey, Chris, it's not that easy. I understand that. But so much of this could have been avoided if you got ahead of it and got in front of it. You could still, well, I've already mentioned Zach Sealer, give him a contract extension. He deserves it, and it would give us a little more cap room. There's a couple more players where we can kind of get some of that money. And I don't know what we're doing. I do know I will be doing videos for the draft this Thursday. Maybe some on Friday, or I may just do basically a recap. Maybe after it's all over with. I probably will do Thursday and Friday. And when I say that, it'll just be a video reaction to who we get, and we'll talk about who we get. But, you know, talk to me in the comments. Am I completely wrong? Because right now, and I don't do predictions and stuff of that nature, but even looking at the schedule, and we know who we play, we don't know when we play them. If we win 6 games this year, I think it's pretty good. That's how distraught I am with where Miami is and what they are doing, because I'm not seeing it. I don't see anything that has improved. I think Tua's still going to be running for his life. Hopefully we bolstered up where we can at least give a semblance of a running game. And then Tyreek's already not happy. So what's that going to bring? Disaster. I'm just not seeing it. And I would love for people to tell me, please, why I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong. But this roster is horrible. Obviously, with Tyreek Hill, we're good at wide receiver. We're okay at tight end. I think we're okay at running back. Offensive line, you're looking, it's like 50-50. You've got 2-3 decent players, and that's putting all your eggs on James Daniels to come back from his injury. But then you brought back Liam Eichenberg. I don't know why. Of all the people in Miami that needed a fresh start, Eichenberg is one of them. Nothing against him, but he's not been good for us. And it's time to move on. I think it's also time to move on from Tyreek. And, let's face it, if we start out winning 2 games in our first 8, then we are completely, you're looking at a complete overhaul. So at the end of the day, this is what we've got to work with. But please, tell me why I'm wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. I'm still going to be rooting. I will see you guys Thursday for the draft. Please make good decisions, and fins up.